India has intensified its power projection in Turkey's backyard. This is being led by the Indian Navy with its BrahMos armed frontline warship conducting war games in eastern Mediterranean with Ankara's adversaries. Multiple Turkish handles and social media users have been spreading fake propaganda that the Indian warship returned after an 18-hour ultimatum by Ankara. However, these claims have been found to be fake, and rightly so. Turkey wouldn't dare challenge the much more powerful Indian Navy. The Indian Navy is ranked 7th most powerful in the world with a significant gap to Turkey, which is down in 10th position. Pakistan is nowhere in the picture and is down in 29th position. Modi's message to Erdogan is loud and clear. If you interfere in Kashmir, then India will now talk in the same language by boosting its own alliances with Turkey's rivals: Greece, Cyprus, Israel and Armenia. In just the last month, India and Greece conducted a key naval exercise in the Mediterranean Sea, which brought together warships, submarines and naval helicopters for high-stakes maneuvers. The Indian guided missile stealth frigate INS Trikand participated in these exercises, which involved a harbour phase at Greece's Salamis naval base. Now, this is the same iconic naval base which witnessed the largest naval battle in ancient world, possibly in history, back in 480 BC, when nearly 370 Greek warships fought and then defeated a much larger Persian fleet of 600 to 900 warships. That battle changed the course of history. Of course, modern warships are much more powerful, and that power was on display in the recent Indo-Greek naval drills, which sent a loud warning to Erdogan's Turkey. Conducted between September 13th and 18th, the exercise comes as both nations deepen their own naval ties against the backdrop of regional tensions. For India, the exercise enhances naval visibility in the Mediterranean as part of a wider deployment, while for Greece, it signals willingness to collaborate with Indo-Pacific partners, especially India. In fact, this map shows the port calls made by Indian warships in just the month of September 2025, with multiple visits in Mediterranean to Africa, Southeast Asia, Australia, and even the Pacific island nation of Fiji. In the Mediterranean, Indian Navy held multiple exercises with not just Greece but also Cyprus, Egypt, and Italy. After completing the naval drills in Greece, Indian frigate INS Trikand then visited Cypriot port of Limassol on the 23rd of September and 24th carried out Parsecs-type exercise with ships of the Cyprus National Guard Navy. Improving coordination between maritime forces, the exercise was aimed to enhance operational interoperability through coordinated maneuvers and communications procedures. Cyprus's Minister of Transport, Communications and Works, Alexis Vafaidis, welcomed the Indian crew to Limassol, noting, "Despite differences in size and population, I believe that Cyprus can be a reliable partner for India in the eastern Mediterranean." Both sides reaffirmed long-standing ties and strengthening of cooperation on defense and security on board Indian warship INS Trikand. The high-intensity drills and naval exercises by Indian Navy with warships from Greece and Cyprus is not a coincidence. It reflects India's concern about Turkey's activities in areas of vital interest to New Delhi. On top of the list is Kashmir, with Erdogan peddling his fake propaganda even at the United Nations. So now India is backing both Greece and Cyprus, both of whom are logged in long-standing maritime as well as territorial disputes with Turkey. While Turkey has illegally occupied northern Cyprus, Ankara is also eyeing Greece's exclusive economic zone. Challenging Greece's maritime plans, Turkey in June submitted a newly drawn maritime map to UNESCO that redefined large sections of the Mediterranean. Its claims over Greek islands of Castellorizo and Crete directly clashes with United Nations conventions on the law of the sea, or UNCLOS. When it comes to Cyprus, Turkey not only shares a border with Cyprus, which is a part of European Union, but also decades-old territorial conflict. Turkish forces captured around 37% of the island in 1974, mainly the northern part, and have remained there since. No country in the world recognizes Turkish-occupied northern Cyprus, and this is also why the European Union has slammed the door shut on Turkish membership. A bolstering of diplomatic, economic and cultural cooperation with Cyprus is Prime Minister Modi's tit-for-tat response to Turkey, which continues to support the terror state of Pakistan. Assessment of Prime Minister Modi's visit to Cyprus earlier this year comes on the back of two broad contexts: Turkey's backing of Islamabad during the India-Pakistan conflict and Ankara and Nicosia's strained relations and territorial dispute. Now, in the case of Armenia, India has been consistently working to bolster its defense relations with the Caucasus countries, especially after its peace deal with Azerbaijan brokered by the United States and Trump. Last week, Ministry of External Affairs Secretary Simi George represented India at Armenia's National Day celebrations right here in New Delhi. Taken to X, the MEA posted, Secretary West Simi George represented India at the National Day celebrations of the Republic of Armenia. He reaffirmed commitment to the long-standing India-Armenia friendship rooted in history, built on recent high-level engagements among the leadership of both countries, unquote. Earlier in August, Prime Minister Modi had met his Armenian counterpart Nikol Pashinyan on the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization or the SCO summit in China's Tianjin and noted that the two nations share warm and growing ties. Arming itself against Azerbaijan, Armenia has become the largest importer of Indian arms after it made significant purchases of Indian-made weapon systems, including Akash air defense system and the Pinaka multiple launch rocket systems. Despite several efforts, diplomatic relations between Armenia and Turkey officially are non-existent and have historically been hostile. The dispute mainly existed due to Turkey's support for its own close ally Azerbaijan, which is in direct conflict with Armenia over the Nagorno-Karabakh region. Thus, India-Armenia's growing ties are a direct challenge to Turkey. By flexing its muscles in the Mediterranean and South Caucasus, India has been steadily strengthening its own footprint there, with three of its biggest rivals of Turkey: Armenia, Greece and Cyprus. Coordinated drills and joint exercises convey a clear strategic message. Turkey's influence is being countered with precision planning by India. Only last week, India's Foreign Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar hit out at Turkish President Erdogan for meddling in internal matters of India by commenting on the Kashmir issue, on which Erdogan has no stake at all. The Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal said that New Delhi's approach has not changed and went on to lodge a strong protest with the Turkish ambassador, stating, "Our stand on the Kashmir issue is very clear. There has been no change in it. As far as mediation is concerned, there too, there is no need for any third party to mediate on the bilateral issues between India and Pakistan." The war of words began after Erdogan, in his UNGA address, stated that Turkey was pleased with the ceasefire between India and Pakistan, but he pressed for the Kashmir matter to be settled on the basis of UN resolutions. Now, his comments echoed Turkey's long-standing support for Islamabad. But why is Turkey poking its nose in the Kashmir issue, which is India's internal matter? Kashmir's capital, Srinagar, was established by Indian Emperor Ashok way back in 250 BC, and it was a land of learning and spiritual pursuit for Indian sages for centuries after. Even in 1947, the ruler of Jammu and Kashmir, Maharaja Hari Singh, legally and lawfully acceded the whole of Jammu and Kashmir to India. So Turkey peddling Pakistani lies and propaganda is not going to change the reality on the ground. POK belongs to India, and one day Pakistan will have to return this stolen land. Even recently, during India's counter-terror operation to destroy Pakistan's UN-designated terror group infrastructure, Turkey continued to supply weapons and drones to Islamabad. Now, Turkey arming Pakistan against India is not new. Ranging from F-16 fighting Falcon jets to 30 Turkish T-129 attack helicopters and Turkish Bayraktar TV-2 drones, apart from cruise missiles and loitering munitions. The defense collaboration between Turkey and Pakistan is directly aimed at India with an objective to destabilize Kashmir. That is a red line, and the Modi government will not let that happen. Now, this is a report on the European Parliament website, which highlights how Turkey is playing a dirty game in India and exposes Turkish support to religious extremism and hate inside India. It states, quote, According to two Indian security service reports, Turkey is channeling funds into the activities of former ISIS members in India that are seeking to radicalize Indian Muslims and achieve large-scale destabilization through a transfer of know-how. To this end, the cooperation of dyed-in-the-wool radicals in Pakistan is being sought in a bid to facilitate interference in India's internal affairs through the state-controlled media and other organizations. Given Turkey's provocations, do you support the Narendra Modi government's move to strengthen India's own defense alliances with Turkey's rivals? Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.